Hi everybody, my name is Hannah and this is Pepper and Pine, and today I have a Waldorf curriculum comparison to share with you. I'm going to be looking at the Oak Meadow curriculum as well as the Live-Education curriculum. Both of these are Waldorf inspired curricula and they are both for kindergarten. So the first thing that I want to point out that both curricula come with is this book that goes over the beginnings of child development. Since this is for kindergarten, both of these books go over some of the aspects of child development that may be helpful to you when you are embarking on this journey for homeschooling. The Live-Education curriculum also comes with its own overview. You can see there were a couple of pictures kind of interspersed throughout this one. And though this booklet is smaller than this one, the font size is also quite a bit smaller as well. And so I think they contain roughly the same amount of information. This is about 40 pages and this is about 135 pages. So with this curriculum, you're getting some of what this part of child development is all about, which is really valuable, especially if you're not familiar with the Waldorf philosophy. Both of these books for each of the curricula are very comprehensive and they give you a lot of information if this is your first exposure to the Waldorf philosophy. And even if it's not, it contains amazing, great reminders, which are going to be so helpful on your journey. So don't overlook reading and familiarizing yourself with this introductory booklet first. I want to also make a note about the binding itself. For the Live-Education curriculum, you have this glue binding here, which just is nice and durable, and the colors of the images are really beautiful as well. And this one is the unupdated version. They have a newer version, and so the binding is going to be a little bit different for the newer version as well as the cover art. And I've linked 2 videos down below in the description box for you so that you can check out what the newer updated version of the curriculum looks like. So it's a little bit different on the inside, but a lot of the content is still the same. And the binding comes with a metal spiral bound as well as a cover, and this allows you to have the ability to turn the pages completely over and lay them flat, which is really great and easy when you actually get to doing your homeschooling. All right, so the curriculum then comes, both of them come with an introduction to the kindergarten year. So again, this one is thicker and comes with a couple of things that I want to make a note of. And this one is also quite thick compared to the first book that I showed you. However, it is still quite a bit smaller, coming in at about 65 pages. The font, of course, is still a little bit smaller, and this one has 120 pages. So the main difference that I saw in the introductory manual are the sections here towards the middle part of the book that I find really valuable. So this particular book is going to go over the different sections that you are going to be teaching during the kindergarten year. And along with each of those sections, there's an explanation to like some teaching tips and then some background information, as well as these pages, what I find to be really valuable. And it's basically a criteria sheet so that you can evaluate the whole process. You can evaluate your teaching process and how well you know it and how well the child knows it. And I think that this is a really great addition to have a little bit of an opportunity to have perspective on your teaching and to evaluate how you're teaching and evaluate the child. And just because this stuff might not be familiar to you to begin with, if you're doing this kind of curriculum, chances are you did not go to a school to be trained as a Waldorf teacher. And so this is really going to help you out in that journey. The tips for drawing and playing the recorder and doing your handicrafts are also amazing throughout this book. Gives you so many valuable tips. By the time you're done going through this, you're going to have a lot of confidence in being able to, again, travel down this journey of homeschooling. All right, so the Live-Education curriculum also comes packed with information as well as a lot of resources on the things that you're going to need for the school year. Now, the thing that's the most different about this one versus the Oak Meadow one is that it doesn't have the sheets to evaluate the work that you're doing, the work that your child is doing. But this book is going to contain examples of the rhythm of the day and the rhythm of the week. And some of the things that this curriculum is going to address are some things that are really specific to the Waldorf philosophy, including a grain of the day and a color of the day, and basically the rhythms of the week. And this is something that's really specific to the Waldorf curriculum that I didn't find expressed in the Oak Meadow curriculum. So that was one of the first differences that I noticed, but it's not the most significant difference for kindergarten. I'm going to get into that in a little bit. All right, so this is going to have a great overview of the things that you're going to be doing during the kindergarten year, including the arts and crafts, the baking, the storytelling, and things like that, as this one does as well. And even though, like I said, the sizes are different, they're both really packed with information. And again, it's a really great addition to the curriculum that it comes with this manual to help you through the year before getting to the actual curriculum. The next book that both of the curriculums have is this kindergarten book here. And this one is significantly thick, whereas the one for live education is quite a bit thinner, but there's a big reason for this. The folk tales and the fairy tales for the live education curriculum, number one, the font size is really small compared to the font size in the Oak Meadow one. And something else that's really distinctive is that you're not going to find any pictures in the live education fairy tale booklet. This is an additional resource to the curriculum, but you're going to find pictures in the Oak Meadow curriculum, and you're going to find it laid out more in a way that you can read these stories to your kids rather than retelling them as fairy tales. So this appears to be more of a book that you might sit with your child and read because it has all these beautiful illustrations as well as more space. The font is bigger and just lends itself more to reading rather than storytelling, versus the live education fairy tale resource book is quite dense, and I think that it's more intended for you to read this and then retell it to your child. So again, this appears a little bit more authentic to the teaching method for a Waldorf school, in that in kindergarten, the teacher is mostly telling stories. It's storytelling driven versus reading driven. So the teacher will familiarize herself with the fairy tale first and then tell the story to the students. So that was the biggest difference that I saw with this part of the curriculum. But again, not the biggest difference overall. That's going to come in just a little bit. Now, the next books here, you've got two here for Oak Meadow, and this one is in the spiral bound, which makes it really easy for you to open up a page and just have it opened up because you can flip the pages over. However, this is with the plastic binding, and I usually don't find these to be durable long-term, but that's okay because the new curriculum comes, or rather the updated curriculum for Oak Meadow comes with the metal binding, and that appears to be a little bit more durable, as well as updated images on the front cover. All right, so the Oak Meadow curriculum, now I feel like this is the actual curriculum, and then this is one more resource book. The same way you had a fairy tale resource book, it also comes with a book of crafts. Now, you're not going to get that in the live education curriculum. It's going to be a little bit different. I'm going to put this aside for just a few minutes and talk about this one first, and then we're going to go back to the live education curriculum in a minute. So the book of crafts is a beautiful book. The illustrations here are delightful, and I apologize that I don't know if the updated version is the same as this one or if it contains different crafts or different images. But overall, this one comes with many different projects that you can do throughout all the seasons. has a beautiful illustrated side right here, and then it has very simple, easy to follow directions with a section on the things that you're going to need as well as what you can do. So this is laid out in a really easy manner. It's very quick and easy for you to go through the curriculum and find the different activities that you want to do. The only thing that you're going to need to purchase are the supplies and art supplies and paper and other things like that that you'll need in order to do these projects. And I know that the Oak Meadow website has a kit with all the supplies ready to go, and that makes it really easy and convenient. But there are also other vendors online that supply the same kind of materials that you might use for a kindergarten, Waldorf kindergarten. The last book I want to show you for the Oak Meadow kindergarten curriculum is the kindergarten syllabus. Now this is the largest of all the books that you'll receive, and the beginning portion of this book goes through an introduction to the syllabus, explaining the main lessons and the main lesson books and creative play and just how to organize the school day. And then the remainder of the syllabus actually are all the lessons that you're going to do for a 36-week school year. So it's a little deceiving when it says lessons. These are weeks. So when it says lesson 1, this is actually an overview of the whole week 1. And within this first lesson are the things that you're going to do that are both repetitive as well as new. So you're going to have circle time, and it suggests a verse that you can read every day at the beginning of the school day. And then you're going to go into your main lesson, which will either be in language arts or math. And you'll spend the bulk of your time doing your main lesson. And then you have your afternoon time devoted to creative play or to your science portion as well as your crafts. Now this is the biggest difference between the Oak Meadow curriculum for kindergarten and the Live-Education curriculum. I'm going to talk about the Live-Education curriculum further in a minute, but I want to just point out that in a typical Waldorf school for kindergarten, you're not going to go into main lessons in language arts or in math. All of that is reserved for grade 1. And kindergarten tends to last 2 years in a Waldorf school, so grade 1 begins at 7. So if you're doing this curriculum at age 5, you're doing the letters and the numbers about 2 years before you typically would do it in a Waldorf school. So this is just something to be mindful of. If you're trying to adhere more closely to a Waldorf philosophy, then you could still purchase this curriculum. I would just suggest using this curriculum for grade 1 rather than for kindergarten. All right, so then what's really nice about this, however, is that it's laid out really user-friendly. So then you're into lesson 2, which is basically an overview of the whole entire week 2. So you begin again with your circle time, moving directly into your main lesson in either language arts or in math. It comes with a lot of different resources within this syllabus for things that you can use, stories to tell about the different letters, stories to tell about the different numbers, different stories that kind of coordinate with either the science portion, the language arts portion, or the math portion of the curriculum. And then it has a lot of suggestions for creative play, as well as your science portion, which is generally done in the afternoon. And it also includes other things like crafts and cooking recipes and other things like that. So it's going to proceed in the similar manner throughout the entire year. Again, beginning with a verse in the morning, moving into your main lesson, and then doing some creative play and science in the afternoon. So this is going to cover 36 weeks, and it coordinates with the seasons, which is another thing that's typical in a Waldorf kindergarten, is that you are working with the seasons. It's a rhythmic part of the school year, and the curriculum responds to those changes in those seasons. And so you're going to see this as well within the curriculum. You're going to see things that coordinate with the seasons as much as they do with the different lessons. All right, so let's look at the Live-Education curriculum for the actual curriculum part. So it comes with 4 books, and you can see that overall they're a little bit smaller, and it doesn't come with a separate craft book. So let's go ahead and look at winter. All 4 books are going to be set up kind of similarly. There will be a few differences, however. So the book, to begin with, as with the rest of them, the font is smaller. It's a little bit more condensed. This is definitely a resource book for you to get ideas for to do within your homeschool. As far as it being user-friendly, this format is more of a resource rather than a day-to-day guide. There are suggestions on how to lay out your whole day, but it's actually not in this part of the curriculum. It's in one of the books that I previously showed you on how to begin your day with a morning verse and then into the different rhythms of the day with your the playtime and the storytelling time and the craft time as well as your meal times. And with this curriculum, as well as with the Oak Meadow curriculum, transitions are a big part of moving the child through the day. And so typically in a Waldorf setting, you're going to be using music or song or verse or even some kind of rhythmic movement to help the children transition from one activity to another. Now, the big thing about kindergarten in a Waldorf school is celebrating the different traditions, holidays, and seasons. And so the books are designed to illuminate different activities that you could do for each of the seasons. So the winter book is going to have a lot of the winter holidays. It's going to have songs and recipes that coordinate with those holidays as well. And this curriculum, as the Oak Meadow curriculum, it does not come with any of the materials that you'll need to supplement for the crafts and the arts, all of those things that you'll buy separately. And to my knowledge, the Live-Education website does not currently have a craft kit, so you'll have to go elsewhere to purchase those materials. So this curriculum, which is something a little unique compared to the Oak Meadow curriculum, is that you have a lot of really beautiful original art by the writer of the curriculum, which is really nice to have on hand in case you decide to draw some of these images for your child to either decorate the classroom or just to celebrate those different seasons. So let's go into one of the other books. This is the autumn curriculum, and this one is going to have, again, some similar things. You can notice there's some music here that you could play on the recorder or the piano, and then it comes with some recipes and some stories that will complement the season, and then some crafts. And so the activities and the crafts are part of the different seasonal curricula books. They're not, the crafts don't come in a separate book by itself. And so as you're going through this particular book, for instance, you're going to get a variety of things. You're going to get how to do an autumn party, how to do a nature walk, some songs that you can sing, some crafts that you can do, some recipes that you can try in the kitchen. But it's not going to say on day 1, try this activity, or on day 2, open with this verse. It kind of gives you all of the resources in one book, and then you can pick and choose what you want to do on a day-to-day basis, depending on where you live, the different activities your children are interested in. This is basically a curriculum that you really need to bring it. It's not passive. You need to absorb the information and then deliver a lesson or create an environment or, work through the rhythms of the day and the seasons. So that's the main difference that I see between the two curricula, that this one is a little bit less user-friendly. However, I feel it's a little bit more authentic to the philosophy. And that's something that the Live-Education team is really adamant about. They really want to provide the closest thing to a Waldorf philosophy as possible, and that's why you're going to find it this way. Okay, so I hope that this basic overview and comparison to the two different curricula was helpful to you, I think that either curriculum is fantastic. You won't be disappointed with either one. They both contain such valuable resources to enhance your homeschool journey. The last thing I want to say is that for me and our homeschool, we use the curriculum as inspiration. We don't typically go through it page by page, activity by activity. We kind of use it as a guide that then we can explore and do our own thing. So if that's something that you're interested in, then I think that the live education curriculum would work really well. But if you're more interested in a day-to-day syllabus, then I think the Oak Meadow curriculum would be a good choice. And then again, the main difference between the two is the introduction of the main lessons and math and language arts in kindergarten versus in the live education curriculum. You're not going to see that until grade 1, and typically kindergarten lasts for 2 years. So it's for 4.5 to 5.5 and 5.5 to 6.5 roughly, and then around 6 or 7 you can start grade 1. And that's the biggest difference that I've seen between these two curricula. Alright, so if you've used either, I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comment section below. And don't forget that I am linking a couple other videos that might be helpful for you if you want to see what the updated version looks like for the Oak Meadow curriculum for kindergarten and for 1st grade.